Mojang has finally released the Armadillo in Bedrock Edition betas today. It'll be coming to Java snapshots next week, but we have all the information you need on this cute, adorable little mob that won the Minecraft Live mob vote. And here is the Armadillo, a surprisingly small little guy with gigantic ears. So they will naturally spawn in the savanna biomes, but they're not like a super common spawn. You're not going to see them immediately when you get here, and they can be lured with the spider eyes. As you can see, that is how you lure them. You can also feed them spider eyes to breed them together as well. So if we get two of these guys, we can get ourselves a baby armadillo. And there we go. It's so cute and tiny. Look at that. That's adorable. It's just a little block. It's just a rectangle with a head on it. That's all it is. So these guys do get scared of the player if I just run around here. As you can see, they're gonna actually curl up into their little ball, and this is a great little texture actually. Now after 3 seconds, if they don't detect a threat, they'll actually unroll. So you can see we can run at them, they'll curl up, and then it takes 3 seconds, and bam, they will unroll. As you can see, they're actually afraid of undead mobs like zombies and skeletons, etc., but they don't actually get attacked by the undead mobs. For science, we need to figure out how strong they are. So 1 smack with a diamond sword, 2 smacks with a diamond sword. They're not that strong. Weaklings. So over time, these guys will slowly shed some scutes. It seems like from the change logs that it's just like an infinite amount of scutes, but you can also brush these guys to get scutes. Oh, you can just, hold up. Auto clicker, activate. Okay, well, scutes is gonna be a very, 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 very easy thing to get. These guys are just scute factories. Man, imagine if turtles were like this. This is great. Yeah, so seemingly infinite scutes. This is beautiful. Okay, so it's gonna be no problem to outfit the entire world's population of dogs with some new wolf armor. And that's kind of a good thing because it requires 5 or 6 of these actual Armadillo Scutes to make yourself the wolf armor, and that's a very texture that exists. Now, you need to be the owner of the dog to actually put the wolf armor on them, and it needs to be an adult dog. But as you can see, we can put that on there, and dang, that looks good. Look at that. Now, this supplies the same amount of armor, resistance, and benefit as diamond horse armor. So this is actually a very good thing to be putting on your dogs. And of course, you can get that off of the dog using a pair of shears because I guess they just needed a tool to get that off of there with. That's the only explanation I can think of. Now, dogs will also drop the dog armor when they die as well, so you don't need to worry about losing this incredibly rare item. Now, Mojang did introduce a mechanic to actually make it so that you need to work for your scutes. As you can see, you only get 5 scutes per entire brush. The durability of the brush is basically 0. Even while they're rolled up into a little ball, you can still brush them, but you're really gonna want Unbreaking 3 on your brush if you want to get like a lot of these things. But then again, the brush recipe is so cheap that you can really just mass craft these things. World's first fully automatic scute farm tutorial for the Armadillo. There you go. It just goes and goes and goes. This farm is faster than hopper speed. It's over 9,000 scute per hour. If you can keep it filled up with brushes, then you can craft all, and I mean all, of the dog armor. The threat detection for armadillos is a bit odd, so even a player inside of a vehicle is considered a threat, and these guys will not unroll if you are like inside of a boat or a minecart, or even if you're riding a horse, for example. They're gonna roll up in a little ball. Now, can we pick up these guys in the boat? Yes, we can. That makes them really easy to pick up and just take away, actually. And look at that, he's just so cute. And it looks like he isn't actually capable of rolling up into a ball when he is in a boat, which is kind of cute. He's so adorable. Look at his cute little face. They also won't roll up into a ball when they're in water, when they're falling, or when they're fleeing from an enemy. I think that's almost everything with the Armadillo. I did try a couple weird things like dyeing them, and I also wanted to see if they were immune to projectiles while rolled up, but they are not. I kind of expected them to be like shulkers, where they get a little bit of invulnerability when they're in their rolled up phase, but it doesn't appear to really help them survive that much. It's just really cute. The Armadillo also doesn't drop anything at all unless you consider experience a drop. There's also a new UI for the world edit screen, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, they continue to redesign all of these screens beyond the main menu. This seems like it's going to stay as is, but everything from here on out is getting a little bit of updates and changes. And as a reminder, this is what the new world menu UI looks like, and it's still missing some of that critical information that we need about our worlds, like date created, updated, or the world size. And they also added another feature called Realm Stories. This is a new social feature for Realms user. As you can see, there's a bunch of information about this, and this seems like a pretty interesting addition. Do you guys remember the Xbox clubs? They used to be tied into those. Are those still a thing? I have no idea. I've not messed with that in years. Mojang has also fixed the weird bug where you could turn the copper grates into full copper blocks just by waxing them. Now, as you can see, it's still copper grate, but it's very broken, and all the waxed ones look like that. So it's a good half a fix. We also now have the ability to make the chiseled copper inside of these stone cutters. So as you can see, you can make 4 of these things from 1 copper block, which is really, really good. They also fixed another bug with the copper grates. You can now waterlog them on Bedrock Edition, but of course the water flows out of them. Bedrock isn't good about having waterlogged blocks that water doesn't flow out of. Like the mangrove roots still has water flowing out of them, even though it should be contained in there as like a singular water source. So hopefully we'll see these 2 things get updated. Also, a weird tidbit about these copper grates on Bedrock, they can actually have redstone go up and over them. They're treated like a glass block, but as you can see, the redstone doesn't actually connect. So it looks very weird when you do it in an elevator, because none of the redstone is connected how it should be. But as you can see, redstone can travel up them, and redstone can also travel down them as well. So kind of useful for your redstone contraptions, but you could just use glass blocks. There was also an odd bug with Frostwalker, where if you mine this frosted ice with Silk Touch, it would actually leave behind a water source, but that is no longer the case. This stuff should not turn into water unless it naturally melts, which was really useful back in the day, but not so much anymore. They fixed an odd little bug where you could Silk Touch beehives and bee nests with a Silk Touch book, but that is no longer the case. I didn't think this little thing through now, did I? So yeah, Silk Touch books used to actually be able to Silk Touch things, which is great. However, Fire Aspect books can still Fire Aspect things, because Bedrock Edition, basically. Now, as you know, you can make a campfire with these materials right here, so that includes 3 logs and 1 piece of charcoal. Now, it used to be that you could then break this campfire and get 4 pieces of charcoal back, which makes sense because that's how many logs are included, but now you only get 2 charcoal. So until this update releases, you can actually have really easy charcoal farms because you can churn your 3 logs into 3 charcoal. Now, Mojang says that they've fixed the bug where if you're placing a line of slabs, sometimes they'll place a double and you'll end up with one underneath it like this. Now, it's really hard to confirm if that's actually, you know, properly fixed or not. This has been in the game and out of the game like 20 times, but hopefully it's actually fixed this time. Well, we'll see. Horses, donkeys, and mules have finally been fixed, so if you walk off a ledge with them and take fall damage, they're actually going to take fall damage now. As you can see, previously, and for like the last 6 or 7 updates, these guys have not taken any fall damage at all. So go run off some cliffs while you can, I guess, is the moral of the story. Nether gold ore and lapis will now actually drop more items and give you more loot when you mine them with fortune, which is a good move. This is part of vanilla parity, so now we are in parity with Java Edition. We've also seen some updates to the shaders for Bedrock Edition. This is not ray tracing, this is actual built-in shaders. If you don't know about this, then check out my previous video. We do a whole deep dive on it. But they've actually released a little bit of an update, so now we have volumetric fog and light shafts, which is amazing. So that's just an extra little update that we've gotten to this. So we know that they are working on this feature behind the scenes, and I still think it's going to be probably 6 or more months before we see this in the actual game. Something interesting is that they've actually changed the loading screens when you load into a world. So now it's going to display 3 different tiers of loading tips depending on your progression in the world, which is really fascinating. This is actually really fascinating to me because it shows that they know what your progression is in your world, and I'm kind of wondering how they do that and what tips they're going to give you depending on your progression. Mojang has also released another smaller beta with a bunch of little bug fixes. They don't really deserve their own video or really any special mention, but if you're interested, here are those changes. If you enjoy these kinds of news and update videos, then of course subscribe so that you don't miss future ones. Thank you for watching.